Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big drama in the North American side last night, and Boostio is once again under the spotlight. 100T versus Cloud9, a very important series in the trajectory of this VCT in the Americas, but it's Boostio and 100T that get the victory in rather controversial fashion. Cloud9 slammed out of control, Boostio talking trash on anybody, not even just Cloud9 after the series is over. Lots to dive into today. Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. First of all, we did get the announcement yesterday that FNS is going to become a co-streamer somewhere. We thought, okay, it was obviously going to be a content-related thing. He was never going to be joining anywhere as a player, right? And I know that he was joking about it being the biggest deal ever and all this stuff, and there was some speculation. I thought maybe NRG, but in hindsight, it actually does make a bit of sense that Som is kind of like NRG's watch partier, Tarek is Sentinel's watch partier. So, well, G2 have decided to sign FNS. So maybe somewhat underwhelming given the circumstances, but whatever. It was always going to be something like this. He's also officially a co-streamer. I'm not even sure he's necessarily a content creator for G2. He's just a co-streamer. So, you know, why not? Makes sense. And to be fair, they played last night and they got a very emphatic victory. So maybe the FNS buff is coming through. We also have to discuss the Pacific real quick because, yeah, this was pretty funny. Cods, I'm not going to lie. The T1 guys, they were just about to play Talent Esports. And, yeah, here they are praying to, you know, their Lord and Savior Faker, trying to get some of the energy from God into their games. But unfortunately, God was not with them in this one, right? Because they went down to Talent Esports in unfortunate fashion for T1. They've been an interesting team. There was a time where they looked actually really rather competitive. Then it's fallen off to some great extent, and this is now what we see, right? T1 going down 0-2 to Talent Esports, and Rossi and Execute and those guys, despite the positivity that they've shown recently, Talent too strong, even with the mid-series change. Lotus goes 13-10 on T1's pick, and then Talent close it out on their own bind 13-10 to close out the series. So pretty important one there, to be honest, because that basically eliminates T1 from contention, and we will discuss in a second here the implications and the importance of 2 series wins in the group and what that might mean in the Americas in a few minutes time, because there is a possibility that as stacked as Group A is, there are more than 3 teams that make it out of that group, right, as we'll get into. Gen.G reasonably clean W here against Zeta Division. They went 13-8, I believe it was, on the split, and then an overtime on the Ascent. So, you know, Gen.G needed a bit of a bounce back here. Zeta aren't great. Hero Ron has a really tough series here. But, you know, they do get the dub. Just because DRX, they've been the team that's leveled it up lately. They've gone next level, it seems. DRX, PaperX are, you know, in an interesting spot right now. And then Gen.G, despite having won their own region not long ago, you know, they kind of needed this victory, I think, to get themselves mentally back on track, potentially. But speaking of PaperX, they play right about now, actually, up against Global Esports. And that means that Benkai versus his former team, PaperX, for the very first time ever. So his last appearance of PaperX was a year ago today, during the 4th week game against DRX. And now they play, as I say, right about now. So let's just have a look how things are getting on. We do also have Team Secret versus DFM. That's now 1-1 here, but Team Secret have got up 9-0 on the map 3. So yeah, the Lotus was dominant on Detonation Gaming's pick. Then Breeze, they won 39 on Secret's pick, so fair play. And then, you know, as it tends to go, defensive heavy on the Secret. But then Sunset isn't exactly looking pretty at the moment. So, yeah, DFM probably about to bow out of that one. And then just after that concludes, we are going to be getting the Global Esports PaperX series. And this is actually a pretty big series of Global Esports, just because, as I'm going to mention in the Americas in a second, but it's definitely relevant in this region as well, there is a rule this year that has just been brought in that to make it to the playoffs, you need to get top 3 in your group. So top 3 in Alpha, top 3 in Omega, you make it to the playoffs, and from there, 3 of those 6 teams will qualify for Masters Shanghai, of course. But the rule is, if you only have 1 series victory, or you simply don't have 2 series victories, you will not qualify. So in Group Omega, there are 5 teams with 2 victories. So there's going to be 3 teams that qualify from this group. But T1 are 1-4, Bleed are 1-3, and Global Esports are 1-3 as well. Team Secret have 2 wins, Gen.G have 3 wins. Team Secret are just about to get another win, it seems, as well. So Gen.G and Team Secret will be fine. The other team, though, Global Esports, Bleed, T1, just because this is a green line here on the left-hand side, which you guys can just about see, that does not necessarily mean that Global Esports qualify. If Global Esports lose this game to PaperX and they lose to DFM and they end up 1-5, even if Bleed are worse, even if T1 are worse, 1 in 5 will not get you to the playoffs because you've got to have 2 victories. And at that point, it would then be only 2 from Alpha and then 4 from Group Omega. Now, this is actually a similar thing to what is happening in the Americas right now, and we'll explain that in a second. We've got 2 big series though to talk about in the Americas because we had G2 versus FURIA, and wow, this was an absolutely emphatic result here. Even from NRG side, they were not so happy. They lost their game the other day, and then they also lost the FURIA speedrun record because this was ugly. A 2-0 for G2 in about 30 minutes. Like, game 1 Lotus was 13-3, and it was the same on the Icebox. 13-3, 13-3. FURIA, these guys are not good. The confidence seems non-existent. I don't know if they need to bring back like DG-Zan or something, but these guys have been struggling big time, and G2 just bowled them over. And it seems like most teams right now are capable of doing this. G2 might not be that good. They lost 100T last time out, but when they play teams like this, wow, they look unbelievable. And I don't know, Icy has been looking probably, to be honest, Icy should be getting better and better. Like, every series they play, I'd be more confident in G2 being more competitive, and that makes Group Alpha incredibly fascinating, as we're going to discuss in a couple of seconds. For FURIA though, and just for the Brazilian scene in general, they do not look competitive right now. And this is actually a pretty big concern for the region in general, because it used to be that, well, you know, Loud are going to be up there, FURIA and MIBR, they might be semi-competitive. But this season, it's not looking the case so far. And actually, Bruno Povaleri kind of discusses why this is the case. And we've heard this talked about for some time in terms of the fact that the players are based out in America, it's based in LA, the league, and a lot of the focus on, let's say, you know, the tier 2 side is also on the North American side, which makes it very difficult, as he's discussing, to bring players up to the Brazilian scene from the challenger side. You know, his feeling is that given the way that Riot have structured the league, makes it very difficult to sign challengers players from Brazil and actually develop them and help them grow, which means that the tier 2 teams are really struggling in Brazil right now compared to in North America, and that means the talent pipeline is being substantially cut off, and therefore, you know, this trend we are seeing of Brazilian teams struggling, he believes is only going to get worse. And the signing cycle is going to continue on players that have already had experience, and it's just going to go round and around. So, you know, that's basically what he says. The time will come where Brazilian franchise teams will need to resort to foreign staff and or players. And I do feel like that is probably not far away from happening to avoid being left behind. All this because Riot Games achieved what it wanted. It raised the level of the North American scene, and Brazil, along with the rest of LATAM, took a backseat and has been left behind. I don't know if that was their intention, but like, given the way that they've structured the Americas, I think you can totally understand why this is happening. And as a result, Group Omega is rather different to Group Alpha right now. The other matchup that we had yesterday, which was highly entertaining, was 100T Cloud9. This on paper to me is the battle, well, on paper I'd have thought going into the season, this is like the battle to be, you know, 5th best type thing. Because, you know, theoretically you think, all right, Sen, NRG, Loud, Lev, and then 5th will be between Cloud9 and 100T. But that is absolutely far from clear right now how good these guys are, because Cloud9 have looked very good lately, but 100T come in and slap them around. Like, this was an incredible map, or incredible round, because Boostio had issues with his mouse right here. His mouse, like, basically disconnected. I think it ran out of battery or something. I don't know exactly what was going on. But he realized he had no ability to decide where his character was aiming for this round, because he was talking to the referee mid, like literally right as this was happening, he was talking to the ref and trying to explain what was going on, but the round was never going to get replayed. So he decided, you know what, I'll just bait for my boys and I'll fly in first and just jump around the corner. And then they actually traded him out and they won the round. So, you know, incredibly embarrassing for Cloud9, of course. And then they go on to win this series as well with a play like this. I mean, this is a 2 versus 4 that 100T clutch. They look really good here. Asuna gets traded, but then EU gets the 2k to close out the round emphatically. So just wanted to share some of the Boostio reaction to this one because it was highly entertaining.
I don't know. We charged it backstage, but apparently it didn't charge for some reason. And then it died, and then I realized, like, you know, we have to play the round still. So I was like, I'm going to run to the bomb site, and then I was like, everyone just bait me. I'm just going to jump through the bomb site. And then everyone waited, and then I jumped through, and then we won the round.
What was the emotion after?
Oh, it was funny. They were bad. C9 was bad. Like, really bad.
You think they're going to go back there and find out that you did not?
They know.
Oh,
they knew.
They know.
All right. Well, I also have to ask you, I talked to you during the rival interviews, and he said that you said that winning that game a bit ago for the first time felt better than winning Champions. To be clear, for those of you who don't know, Champions is the World Championship of Valorant, which you won last year. You're the reigning World Champion, but last week you're like, much better. Why?
I mean, playing for like an org like 100T, I think it's like more important to win than like EG, to be honest. Like winning a world championship is awesome.
Get this guy some more money.
I just want to win on this org more than anything, to be honest.
Oh my God,
the fans
dude.
want you here too. The fans are
Hey, listen,
out in force.
we take all fair weather bandwagon fans, dude. If you hated us before, you want to jump on board now, we'll take it, bro. We got plenty of room.
Snowball effect.
I love this
Where do you go
guy.
from here?
Where do we go from here? I mean, we're 2-0 now. I mean, we all have unreal confidence now. We already knew that we were the best gamers in the world, or one of them. And I just, can't wait to keep playing more matches. It's going to be so fun. I love my team, and, I think we really could do some damage this year.
Where do you think you are in the rankings of all the teams?
I mean, after that performance by NRG, which was horrendous, I think they are way low. But let's say,
oh my God, wait, how
maybe
can you
top
still
three.
play
We're only
NRG?
1-2 games, so we'll see.
Number one, they say, and I love Boostio's just true candor. Thank you so much, Boostio.
Good
Keep
chat,
on being loud for
dude.
Boostio.
Oh my
Chad,
God, dude.
Six
This
of
man
friends, please
Boostio is
take it
delivered
away.
to us from the heavens, dude. Praise God.
That's so good.
But what can you even make of this series, right? Cryo, I thought it was great to see him absolutely cooking in this one, to see him back to some degree of form. Bang, EU, Asuna, like, they all played incredibly well. And this is a Cloud9 team that, has been crushing top theoretical opposition in the other group not long ago. Oxy still holds his own, but Zeppa, Vanity, Moose and Rooney both have really hard times. And this is kind of what I expect from Cloud9. They've got the potential in there, but they've also got the potential to get slapped around. And I think this is like how this team is going to be, to be honest. So Bind was 13-7, and then the Ascent was pretty crushing. I mean, it was 13-6, and honestly, it was not as close as this looked, to be fair. There was a bit of a fake comeback from Cloud9. Oxy tried his best, as he usually does, but it straight up didn't matter. And this is some of the reaction to the trash talk from Boostio, because here he goes, 2-0 Cloud9, Jesus, they were terrible. So this guy is comedy. Look, people always have their mixed opinions on whether trash talk is fair, whether it's unfair, whether it's, too mean or whatever. I love it personally. You guys know my opinions on this type of stuff. It adds to the storylines, and it's also a natural byproduct as well of the growth and development of a scene. You're going to get players that love talking like this, and I think that he's a great fit and a great personality with 100T as well, even roasting NRG, even roasting EG in his post-game interview as they take down Cloud9, and now 100T are looking pretty nice. I mean, they're in the group where they will easily qualify for the playoffs in the Americas because they're in such an easy group, whereas it's not the case on the other side of things. And as Oxy says, we actually couldn't shoot our gun today. Pretty funny that he says we, because he could at least kind of shoot back. Maybe there's a bit of an implication there under the skin that Oxy's thinking, damn, like, I tried, and the rest of my team, they couldn't even shoot back today. He says we, like, kind of, I don't know. If I'm Oxy, I'm thinking, damn, like, I'm doing my best here, but the boys couldn't do anything. CTE, by the way, is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, I think is what it's called. It's basically a brain injury that is associated a lot with, American football players. So that's what CTE means. It's been going around as a bit of a meme lately, because you basically lose function of your brain over time to some degree. So, looks like we had CTE. Will never happen again. This is, though, how things look in the Americas, and wow. And this is what I mean on the 2-win rule thing. Now, I honestly thought when the 2-win rule was going to be a thing, I was like, okay, that's probably not going to be massively relevant. But in this case, it probably is going to be. Because in Group A, Crew Esports, Cloud9, G2, Sentinels, NRG, they've all got 2 if not 3 wins. And that, I mean, honestly, I don't know who's going to come 5th here. But there was a good chance that 4 Group A teams make it. Because Loud are 0-2. MIBR, EG and FURIA, they're not looking good. Loud, to me, are the only team that can still make it. And right now, they are 3rd. 100T and Lev are going to be fine. They've got 2 wins. They're going to be top 2, top 3 in the group, no problem. Loud, however, if they only win 1 game, they will end up 1-4. And 1-4 is not enough. That's the way the rule works. If Loud end up 1-4, even if every team below them is worse, 4 teams from Group A qualify instead, and Loud do not qualify for the playoffs. So Loud needs to win 2 of their remaining 3 games. And this same is true for, MIBR as well. EG and FURIA are basically chalked, but, theoretically they could win 2 EG, but they play Sen and NRG, one of which is tonight. Probably not going to happen. But Loud need to beat G2, Sen or Crew. they need to win 2 of those 3. And they can do it for sure, but right now, I don't know how likely that is. So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.